Okay, so for this module, I chose to work with the Amazon rainforest within this ecosystem that I chose to work with and biodiversity. So starting off with just some general stuff about rainforest, it's these wet and warm forests that have no dry seasons. Like it's moist all year round, but they also get exposed to a lot of sun because the placing of all these rainforests is usually on the equator, and that's also the case with the Amazon rainforest since it works in the South American region. But also, then we have to find some important species and why they're important. So, first of all, I found this animal called an agouti, and it's important because it looks like this kind of squirrel, and there's these trees in Brazil that pretty much depend on this animal to open the seed pods that they leave behind, that falls down from the tree, because that this animal is the only animal with strong enough teeth to actually open these seed pods. But also because this animal stores the food that they don't need at the moment. So they store them and they bury them under the ground, and they have a habit of forgetting some of all the places that they hide this food. So they basically help the plants and the trees in which that they bury the seeds from to grow new. Because obviously, when they lay there too long, they're gonna grow again, and they're gonna become a tree. So that's kind of how they help it as well. But also there's the orangutan. And the way that the orangutan is important is because it helps disperse the seeds around the forest because there's so much still air in the forest. So there's not any wind inside of it. So it's really it's a struggle because that the plants can't really um, be spreading their seeds around with the wind pollination. So we have animals like the orangutan that helps disperse the seeds and keep this diversity in the forest. But also, there's special adaptations that's made in animals and plants that is in the Amazon forest because there's both this behavioral and physiological adaptations because it's this survival of the fittest that they have to live by. And we have first first of all the animals because they use camouflage as one of their adaptations, which is this physiological adaptation. Like the walking stick insects use camouflage because they literally look like the sticks so they can hide from the predators. And the sloths use the exact same way of they have to hide from predators, also because they're so slow, so it's really important for them to have this kind of a defense mechanism that makes it difficult for predators to spot them. um and also the time in which that the animals are active, like we have some animals that's active at night, like there's maybe the special kind of mouse in the bottom of the rainforest, and this is an actual animal that some snakes have to eat. So the snakes have to be active at night as well. So they have to kind of time it with maybe when their food is going to be out and stuff like that. Also poison. Like poison is one of the things that the snakes also take use of to paralyze their prey. So they have time to actually eat it or strangle it or kind of just do their thing. They use poison as one of the ways to kind of help them in the situation. And for plants, some plants have created this thing called drip tips, and it's the way that the leaves look like. It just makes sure that the water comes off fast without damaging the leaves, which is really important when it's raining, and especially in the rainforest because there's season where it rains a lot, and it's important for the leaves to be able to stay healthy and not be damaged by the rain that falls down hard. So that's what they use the drip tips for. There's also these buttress roots, and they basically just create this large surface area by the tree, and they help support the large trees, which is important so the trees don't break together or anything. Like they have to have some basic a helpful support by the ground, and that's what these buttress roots basically are. And there's also threats to the Amazon rainforest. Farming is one of the main threats. There's both pastoral farming and there's arable farming. Pastoral farming is basically these large areas being cleared because of cattle farms. Like there's a lot of cattle farms by the Amazon basin that's opened, and that's really dangerous because they just clear the area and just leave it like that. So they basically tearing down some of the rainforest. And that's the same thing with the arable farming. They just do it because that they can have crops such as soybeans or anything like that. Um, Logging is also a huge threat to the area because they want to take the logs, especially mahogany, to make furniture or any nice things like that. But the thing is, they don't plant any new trees, so that's also why it's hurting the forest. Mining is also a huge threat because there's a lot of natural resources in the Amazon basin, like iron, copper, tin, aluminum, manganese, and gold. So they clear out the forest to develop the mines, and that's a big issue because, of course, they're not going to plant any new ones right by it, and it's just hurting the whole forest. So there's also some ideas to help protect the forest against these threats. First of all, with logging, it's important to be replanting as well. If you have to do logging, then you have to be replanting. And it'd be best if you replant more trees than you actually cut down so you ensure the future of the forest. But also, it's very important to educate the local people on how important that the rainforest is, because I don't believe that the local people they know enough of the rainforest. Like they just do their thing and they just let people in, or they do them themselves, especially the farmers. So if we educate on how important it is, then they're more likely to want to protect it from deforestation. And something that connects kind of with that is maybe to create eco-tourism, and that like encourages this sustainable tourism, and it can create jobs for the local people, like maybe the ones that were farming before and wanting to cut down the trees to be able to have more land to farm on. Then they have jobs, ensuring the money that they could have used for the farms or anything. But also, it's a way of getting money in for a good benefit. Like you can protect and conserve the rainforest, and that's really important. That's a great way to maybe protect this forest against other threats.